Well, it's just back in 1976, I remember, the fall of Vietnam, 75. So I just come over here. And some friend, introduced me to someone, in the publishing industry. And they said they want me to write my story. And they want to do it very fast, So I had no idea, at that time about publishing book so, and because they pay me some, advance money, which I can use for, to buy a business. So I agree, and we just met. I just met with them, 2 or 3 gentlemen, for just a few hours, and just one time. And after that, they wrote the book. So I can say that it was not, a real, true story. And that's why now, after 27 years, my friends, both American and Vietnamese, they come to me and they said to me, it's time that you tell the Vietnam story, Vietnam side. Yeah. July 1965. Until the election, the presidential election 1967. I am 34 and a half. Yeah, 35 years, yes. I think that this maybe 37, I remember that someone, doing a fly to visit some country, and someone took this picture. I am 73 now, and many friends, especially American veterans. When they met me, they all look at me and they said, "I think you are General K, but are you?" And I said, "Yes." And said, "How come you stay? No change." And that's why they recognized me. But sometimes I have some problem with my staying young. I remember one time coming back LA, Los Angeles, from a trip overseas, and when I show my passport to the customs service, he looked at my passport for at least 2 minutes. And then he looked at me again and he asked, "Your driver license?" "Okay, driver license." And then, "Your green card?" "Okay, green card." Why, behind me a long line of passengers waiting, to have stamp on their passport. At the end, I asked the gentleman, you read the name?" And yes. You know who am I?" And he said, "Yes, Nguyen Cao Ky." "So what take you?" And he said to me, very funny. He said, "My father served in Vietnam, and he is one of the admirer of Nguyen Cao Ky. So at home, we have the picture on the wall, picture of Nguyen Cao Ky. But it is 35 or 40 years ago. But now, you look too young." I imagine that, Nguyen Cao Ky, should be some sort of an old man with white hair, cannot walk. So I asked him, "Okay, now you trust me?" And he said, "Okay, now." And then he asked me, "What is your secret? What is the secret to stay, so young?" I said, "Next time, because too many people waiting." Yeah, I came first through Camp Pendleton. Why I stay as a refugee, as like other Vietnamese refugees. I stayed in Camp Pendleton, I think for 1 or 2 months. Yeah, in California. And then after that, I joined my family here in Fairfax, Virginia. So we lived here for 1 year. And then one day I was invited by a television, show down LA, Los Angeles. So while in LA, of course, I met with some Vietnamese friends. And then they convinced me that California have a better climate and weather for me. So we decided to move down there since at the end, 1976, yeah. Well, we moved around. First, we bought a house in Huntington Beach with the money I make from the book and from the speaking tour. I remember it's only $110,000 at that time. 4-bedroom, very nice house, and I only had to put about 10%, about 12,000. And then I left Huntington Beach and then go to live in Hong Kong for almost 3 years. It's 1988 to 1991. And then when I come back to America, we go to Seattle for 1 year because my wife, has some relative in Seattle. But after 1 year, I found out there is too much water in that city. And I'm golf, player now. So I said to my wife, we should go, move back to California. So right now I'm in LA, in Hacienda Heights, next to the famous Chinese temple that the former Vice President Gore visit during the presidential election. I have 7, 4 boys and 3 girls. 3. About 16 grandchildren and 1 great grandchild. Well, I just mentioned, with the money from the book. And then when I moved from here to California, of course, I went to the bank and opened a new account and put my money. And then, the director, the president, and all the members of the bank, of course, they recognize me. So they come out and, say, welcome. And then it happened that one of the directors of that bank is in a liquor store named Jack Hensel. His family, own in total about 60 or 65 liquor store in the area. He's a king of liquor store. So after we become friends, and then he asked me what my intention. I said, I don't know. With the little money, I think I want to have some small business. And then he advised me. He said the best small business in LA at that time is a liquor store. And it happened that he owned many, so he said, if you want, I can help and to sell you to one of my best store. So I said, I'm happy. So I start my exile life. First become a liquor store owner. No longer. one day, the Vietnamese down Louisiana, invite me. In fact, I remember together with the General Westmoreland for a military parade in New Orleans. So while there, I met with a few other friends in the American community and some Vietnamese fishermen. And so we talk about the fishing business. And then again, American banker in New Orleans, and he suggested to me, well, why don't you come here and help the Vietnamese fishermen, and also help us American, to expand and develop the fishing industry. So I said, okay. So 3 months later, I moved down there, and again with the help from the local bank, I bought a fishing boat, a dock, and I become a fisherman. But just for, I think, a very short period, 1.5 years, because I was not lucky at that time. I come in at the time that they have the worst season of fishing. We go out day and night, 18 days, 20 days a month, but did not catch much shrimp. So at the end, I asked the bank president that here, you see, I try my best, but because, no luck. So I give them back, the fishing boat and the dock and everything. Oh yeah. I went out, myself, Oh yes. Of course, with my son and my family. Oh yeah, I can tell you one example. One night I was by myself because the box boy already went home. So here's the young guy. He's Mexican, and he come and of course, he knows me. So he said to me, "General, I want 5 cases of beer." And okay, I have to go back to the cooler, and seeing that I'm, going to the back to bring out his beer, and the gentleman said, "Oh, don't. If you, with your permission, let me go and find the beer myself." I said, okay. So he went back to my cooler and, brought out 5 cases of beer. And so I look at him, oh, you have a big party, a lot of beer. And he said, oh, it's my wedding. And then we talked, and then he said, well, I serve in your country as Marine, this and that. So I said to them, well, in that case, to show my gratitude, just have 5 cases beer free for your wedding. So that's the one. Oh God! Oh, first he said no, but I insist, And then another day when I was there by myself, here a big tourist bus, stopped in front, and 60 or 70 of them, German, from Germany, tourists. So they all, come to the store. So I thought to myself, you're going to sell a lot of liquor and beer. But when they are in the store, they all looked at me and they said, "Are you General Ky?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Can you sign your autograph for us?" And I signed 60 or 70 autograph, and they didn't mind even a single can of a beer. So I asked the guide, and of the traveler agency, why you stop here and don't tell me before. And he said that it's the traveler agency in Germany. So those tourists, when they come to see Disneyland, and somehow someone told them that nearby, General Ky has a liquor store. So they asked the traveler agency back in Germany to include one stop at my store so they can come in and have my autograph. Well, that's during an official visit of President Nixon to Vietnam. Well, as you know, I become Premier 65, and then I brought back stability and unity. Well, from after the military staged a coup against President Diem, November 63. And then from November 63 until July 65, before I become Premier, during a period of time only about 2 years, there are 5 or 6 changes of government in South Vietnam. We began with a military government. It lasted a few months. And then a mixed civilian and military government. And then a few months later, go back again to military. But anyway, the last government in the South before I become Premier was a civilian government. That means the Chief of State, Mr. Siu, was a civilian. Dr. Phan Huy Quat, the Prime Minister, was a civilian. But I think because they belong to 2 different political groups, so they continue to fight each other as Chief of State and as Premier. So at the end, how they can govern, the country with that kind of, friction and fight each other. So one night they called upon the Armed Forces Council, which as commander of the Air Force, I am the member. So they called upon us to see them at the office of the Prime Minister, and where both they told us that they resigned and handed the power back to the Armed Forces Council. Around 12 years. But the Armed Forces Council, a few hundred, we include the young officers commanding the division and battalion. But anyway, that night we spent a few hours, until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to persuade those 2 civilian leaders that patch up your, you corral, you fight and stay. But they definitely, didn't want to stay in power. So we have to accept their will. So the next day, at the headquarters of the Vietnamese Marine, we had a meeting by all the members, big meeting, all members of the armed forces. And Mr. Thieu, as the most senior officer, of the army. He presided over the meeting. I think he was Minister of Defense sometime. So, he presided over the meeting. And me, I sit, among the so-called young Turk at that time. Otherwise, yes, a young Turk, the commander, the paratroopers, the Marine, and the Navy. We met that day, to name the next Prime Minister. You're talking about a few 100,000, I think, at least 200,000. Yes. So I remember myself first suggest Mr. Thieu, General Thieu, become the next Prime Minister. But for some reason, Mr. Thieu, didn't accept the offer. So from Thieu, we, go to the next, and the next, and the next. All the senior and high-ranking in the army, but they all refused. So at the end of the day, the meeting, the armed forces didn't come to find someone, So at one moment, Thieu, come to me and he said, "Hey, Ky, we all discussed and we think you are the most qualified. And anyway, no one dared to accept that kind of, responsibilities." So I said to him, if that is the will, the desire of the whole, of all the members, and then I accepted. And the next day I become the new premier. Now, still today there are some opinion of some people, still speculate that I become premier after myself and a group of young officers staged a military coup. It was not true. I never staged a coup, and they picked me up. I can say they forced me to become premier, maybe hoping that by that way they send me to the electric chair. First, before I become premier, it was General Maxwell Taylor. And then after that, Henry Cabot Lodge. I didn't have much chance to talk or to be close with Maxwell Taylor. So I don't say, but I knew, vaguely that he's one of a hero of American Army. I only met him one time, and to be frank, I didn't keep a very good memories about him, because I think that day, he after General Nguyen Cao Ky, at that time he's the leader, the top leader of the military. I think right after Nguyen Cao Ky staged a coup against the other general, the Big Ming. So Maxwell Taylor was very angry, because the month before that, he and Westmoreland invited the armed forces, the military, Vietnamese, for dinner at Westmoreland House. And in that, Taylor explained to us that it's a necessity that South Vietnam, keep the unity and stability in the works he advised us to no more coup, no more coup. And here, just after, a few weeks after that meeting, Khanh staged a coup. So I understand why Taylor is very upset. So he called Khanh, asking Khanh to see him, to meet him at the American embassy. But Khanh, for some reason, didn't want to go. So Khanh come to me and said, "Okay, Ky, go to see the American ambassador." Of course. So I went to see Maxwell Taylor, and with me, General Thieu at that time, Army, Nguyen Cao Ky, paratroopers, and Kang, the Navy commander. So 4 of us, representing Khanh and the Armed Forces Council. We went to the U.S. Embassy. But as soon as Taylor come and opened the door for us, and looked very angry, and he just said, "Okay, sit down." Of course, we sit down, but then we listen. So he very angry tone, he said to me, to us that, "Well, after dinner, a few weeks ago, I asked you, I told you this and that, but now you still, stay so cool." So he said something, I waste my dinner. Okay. So while the other 3 Vietnamese fellow, didn't know how to react to such, such tone. So my reaction was, I said to Taylor, I said, "Well, Mr. Ambassador, I'm very poor man. I didn't have beef every day." So I remember, the dinner with you. You gave me the best steak, and I really, appreciate that. So don't think that you waste your steak. I really, like it. But now come to the matter of my country. That's different thing. We act, we do things because we think it's good for our country. And that's it. We end the discussion and we say goodbye and go home. And then when we report that attitude to General Nguyen Khanh, he also very angry. He want to call upon the press for a press conference right away and declare the ambassador persona non grata. But then some friends, I think American, I don't remember who's come to me and said to me that, Maxwell Taylor is an Army hero. Now, and we don't have many heroes. So as a friend, I ask you to your friendship, not to destroy, American hero. So I understand it. So I go back to Khanh and to other fellow. I said, no, it's not the right way to do. But maybe in the American side, they see the problem with Taylor if he continue to stay as U.S. ambassador. Very difficult relationship between Taylor and us. And so when I become premier, Mr. Henry Cabot come as a new ambassador. I can say I like him. I like him very much. He's a true gentleman first, a diplomat, and I think among American officials, he's the only that understand me. See very clear what kind of man I am and what personality and character that. I think he's very close friend with, and I really respect and like him. Not intention, but desire and hope. Yes, someday I will be back. Not yet. I'm thinking about yes, maybe. I don't know. You know, my wife and my family, my son, you know, they always pushed me to, to apply for American citizenship. They said, you are old now, and you're living here for 27 years. It is about time. So maybe, yeah. I think after 27 years, you know, if my mother country is Vietnam, still Vietnam, but my father country now is America. So to have dual, you know, identity is nothing wrong with that. That kind of feeling toward American, you know, I learned even when I was young officers. I remember when I went to Maxwell Air Force Base, you know, for what they call it, command and staff school. Yeah, in that school we have other foreign students, all officers, 59. So when you talk about, you know, a foreigner, and we talk about American, you know, or America, we come to the same conclusion that more American give aid to people, more that people don't like him. Even at a very young age, you know, among us, it's not our feeling, but it's a fact, you know. And from that day, you know, I begin to think a little more about why that more you come and with, you know, the goodwill in good intention to help, but then still people don't like you. And then today, you know, older and with more experiences and understand better. I think because, one, people are jealous, but also right after World War II ended, and then the world was divided in two camps. One, with Russia and China, you know, the Red Empire, and this side, the so-called free world, and the leader, of course, the United States. And of course, you know, during what we call the Cold War between the two, international communism propaganda help a lot, especially among the third world, to formulate, you know, some kind of opinion about America, and mostly unfavorable. And that's why most of the country in the third world, even those who receive, you know, aid, money from United States, don't like America. And the third reason, I think, American himself. Now is much better, but you know, back 50 years ago, very poor knowledge about the outside America. So I think all that misunderstanding, not only from American, but also from the outside, from people like me. Even when I become premier and a closer ally with American, and at that time I thought that I'm the one that understand America and American. But then, in exile here after 27 years, really, truly live in America daily and watching. I realized that 27 years ago, even as a prime minister, of a country that and a partner with America, at that time I knew nothing about the system, the society, the way of thinking, nothing. I think that the lack of understanding from American and from other friends, that's the key of why, although with big and good intention to help other people, still don't love you or don't like you. And I think today, more than in the past, American will have a big and very difficult role to play, because never before human history that you have one country that become the sole and the true powerful in both field, economic and military. America is the sole leader of the whole world today. So with kind of a responsibilities, I think you have to learn more, not about the Vietnamese, but about other people. Afghanistan, Saddam Hussein, a friend or enemy, should have, the true understanding, so you can act, as a true leader. Oh, yes. Because first, Thieu passed away last year. No, here, right after the fall of Vietnam, few days before the fall, Thieu, with the help from American, went to Formosa, Taiwan. And then the American government sent Mrs. Anna Chanel to Taiwan to tell Thieu that he's not welcome in America. And they help him, to go to England. So he lived in England for, I think, for 3 or 4 years, or 5 years. And then he moved here, Boston. He just, passed away about a few months ago. So as Asian, to talk or to criticize a dead person, for us is not the right thing. I can answer your question, but please don't force me to go in line, to talk about Thieu, what he did, or his personality. But I can say that I'm the only one that understand and know Mr. Thieu. He every time talking with me, he always expressed the fear that if we do something against the will of American, they will do like a Zim with them, overthrow and kill him. That's something Thieu always, scared about. The assassination, I'm not sure, but the coup against Diem, yes. I know all those Vietnamese generals, without a consentment or without the support from, a consentment from American, they dare to stage a coup against Mr. Diem. But now, to kill the brother, I don't know, because, the Diem brother, I don't know whether it's order from American or the Vietnamese themselves took that decision. That does mean that you treat the people as slave, but you have a good intention. But again, as I said, the lack of understanding, tradition, custom, and some of the time because you are too impatient. So, and then the way you treat other, especially the weak and small people, give them the impression that you treat them as a slave. Well, before I express my own opinion, I can tell today that even Mr. Adam, the one that took the picture, I remember, I think recently in an interview, when people asked his opinion again about the picture, and he expressed some kind of regret that, and he said something like, because he did know what happened before, what that Viet Cong, do to Vietnamese in Saigon during the Tet Offensive, Big Tet 68, okay? So Luan died, yes, in Washington about 3 years ago. Very poor man. He come here and with help from the family. He opened a very small, Vietnamese restaurant, very small one, where, his wife cooked and he served. But he didn't make it because the place is too small. And it shows that he come out clean, and as a chief of police, for many years, a very powerful man of Vietnam. Yes, national chief police. And I can say the guy come out with no money at all. No, to be frank. Well, maybe because I'm born that way, When I become the commander-in-chief of the Air Force, you can ask them. I still treat, people, who serve with me as a good friend. And then when they pick me as premier, I don't think I feel, different. For me, the position means responsibility, but that's all. So when I come here, I become liquor owner or fisherman, I feel no difference, to be very frank. No difference at all. And, maybe that's my secret to stay young. Yeah, nothing bothers me. Yeah. Yeah, well, anyone, to be an average man, is not the problem. But if you are different, and then, you belong to a very small group of a leader. I think I'm born that way. I didn't learn from anyone. I didn't spend time to mediate or to think about what I have to do to become this and that. And that's why, again, I think the title Buddha Chai, I like it. It means I come from Buddha. My mother, in desperation to have a boy, went to the famous temple in North Vietnam and prayed Buddha to have a son. And then 1 year after I was born. So my mother and my family, believe that I really, the son of Buddha. And also Marvin, my associate to write this book. Yeah, after listening the story of my life, and one day he said to me, "Well, General, I think you really have the heart of Buddha." So this title, he himself, or maybe with Saint Martin Press, suggest to me this title. He was a Vietnam veteran, a reporter for, I think, 101st Division. But he served in Vietnam, yes. I was the very first, pilot, to work closely with the CIA, Colby at that time, to cross the border at night to drop our, special team in North Vietnam. That back in 1961. And then later, I was the very first, as the commanding of the Air Force, to lead our aircraft to cross the border to bomb North Vietnam. And also many times I asked, President Johnson and other people that to stop this war and to win this war, you have to go offensive, go north. Otherwise, if you continue to fight a war with so much limitations, and always in the defensive, at the end of the day, you're going to lose. But for some reason, they never listened to me. Or, yes, one time, Secretary Dean Rush said to me something like, if we go north, the Chinese may come south. And then for the Americans, they don't want to see, a second Korean War. So, we always in the defensive with so much limitation. What we learn later is that, under the communist system, they organized people and trained the people and have very tight and very effective system to control the people. So when a new foreigner infiltrate in their hamlet or village, if you don't pay attention to the detail, even your accent and the way you eat, they will recognize right away that you are infiltrator, yes.